Hi, my name is Jess McLeod. I have the honor of serving as the current director of our Royal Family Kids Camp local chapter for Cowlitz and Wahkiakum County. Although this summer will be our third summer, Royal Family Kids was started in the 1980s, and this past summer we were part of 15,000 volunteers across the globe, all united in our common mission of interrupting cycles of abuse, abandonment, and neglect of the children in our local foster care systems. Children in foster care have seen and heard things far worse than what most of us can imagine, and it's not hard to see how they could end down some wrong paths. Too often, these paths include drug abuse, academic failure, incarceration, teen pregnancy, homelessness, and sex trafficking. The statistic that stands out the most to me is that 80% of the inmates on death row were once in foster care. I tend to picture one of those inmates on death row, and then I picture them as a 7-year-old. And I think, what if we had the opportunity to speak into his life at that age? What if we had the chance to rewrite his story? And think of the lives that that could affect when we not only sow into his life, but all the ones that he affected on his way to death row as well. Some may think that 1 week at summer camp may not make a difference, but the founder of Royal Family Kids likes to say that it took one moment for abuse to affect these children for the rest of their life. And who knows what God can do with a whole week full of moments. It takes a lot of volunteers serving in many different ways to make our 1 week of Sleepaway Summer Camp successful. We had 16 churches represented just at camp last year in terms of our volunteers, and we hope for even more this year. After the commissioning service on Sunday, all of our volunteers who will be serving at camp leave to go get camp set up. And that means, since our campers don't get dropped off locally here in town till Monday morning, that means we need an in-town team of volunteers to process them through registration as well. And those different registration stations include a check-in where we check the identifications of our caregivers that are dropping off our kids and confirming who's allowed to pick them up on Friday after camp, and a lice check, which means we need more volunteers to also do the lice treatment if we find a kiddo that does have lice. There's also the luggage check-in where we confirm that they don't have anything they're not supposed to have at camp, like valuables or money or junk food or electronics, and that they do have the list of necessities that we need for them to have at camp. And if they don't, then we have a runner that'll stop by the store to pick that up on the way to camp. And we have a breakfast also, so that also is a team of volunteers. We need to prepare the breakfast where our caregivers get to have a little bit of time with their camper who may be nervous or a little anxious about leaving for a whole week with strangers. And so they get to have breakfast, and the caregivers can even stay there for a little bit while the kiddos then go to the playroom. So that's more volunteers we need in the boys' playroom and the girls' playroom as well. We have a lot of firsts at camp once our kids get there. As the bus arrives on Monday, there's a royal welcome, whereas each kiddo gets off the bus. We have a red carpet that the volunteers that are already at camp are lining, and as each kid gets off, we welcome them royally and cheer, and they're looking for the counselor that's holding their sign with their name on it. And we do ask them if they want a quiet welcome or a loud welcome so we can accommodate their sensory needs and not overwhelm them as they're first getting off the bus too. Some of our campers have never had a birthday party, so on Wednesday is everyone's birthday. We wake up just saying, "Happy birthday, Jill," "Happy birthday, Jack," and our kids are the only ones that get the birthday presents, but we actually have some great churches around where our campground is located that come in and put on a birthday carnival for our kids as well, with a dunk tank and bounce houses and carnival games, beanbag tosses and hula hoop contests and face painting. And so our kids get a pizza party as their meal, and then they get to go out and have this amazing birthday party carnival for them as well. And they also, when they come back to their cabins, have birthday presents, and that also include a brand new backpack with school supplies. I remember one year our Uncle Brett, because we have aunt and uncle and grandma and grandpa, said that as he was putting one of his campers to bed that night, he said that his dream had come true that day. And I always imagine the hullabaloo of the birthday party and the birthday presents, but Uncle Brett said, what was your dream? And he goes, "I had my own brand new backpack today." And for some of us, that's like getting underwear from grandma at Christmas or something. It's just a necessity. But for our kids that don't always get all of these little things, it can be just even the backpack, not even the birthday presents, can be their biggest dream that they had come true. We did, even our first year, as bumbling as we might have been, our first year, we had different days where different campers came up and said, today was the best day of my life. And we think that 1 week can be hard for a lot of our volunteers to give up. You're taking off vacation time from work, you're taking time away from your own families and spending it with these strangers. But that 1 week to us is just 1 week, but to them it can be the best week of their lives or the best day of their lives. Some other firsts we have at camp is a formal tea party on Tuesday night, and that's where we have amazing community members donate new or used like Easter dresses or dress-up dresses like Frozen or Belle, and tuxedos or just nice dress shirts, and we had some bow ties and suspenders and vests for the boys, and they get all dressed up, and we have some amazing volunteers again from our local community near the campground come in and do hair for the girls and makeup and nails, and then they all arrive to the tea party, and we crown them with some donated crowns again and tiaras for the girls, and then escort them into their tea party dinner, and they just get to practice being fancy and practice their manners and acting like ladies and acting like gentlemen. And one of our volunteers that worked in our dress-up area said that it was just neat to see even the boys as they put on their overcoats and just the posture straightened and the pride that they then have in themselves and that they're worthy and that they get these things. And it's just neat to see that in them. Some of the other firsts that we have at camp for some of our campers is just the fact that they've gotten out of town or the fact that they're camping. We have wood shop where they get to use hammers and nails and put together some different projects that they take home with them. We have an activity center where they get to paint those and other activities that they've made and make other crafts, ocean in a bottle, and they had snap circuits where they got to play with those. And they each go home with a brand new storybook Bible, and whether it's going on nature hikes or some of our kids have never been taught how to ride a bike, so we go and we bring a bunch of bikes with us too, and even the ones that have ridden bikes before, that's one of their favorite activities for some of them is just riding along with their counselors through the trails. And we take more adults than kids to camp with us. To maintain our low ratio of adult to children, each counselor is only assigned 2 campers, and we do match them up by gender. So if I was a counselor, I'd have 2 girl campers. I would also am never allowed to be alone with a child. No adult at camp is. And so I'd be matched up with a buddy counselor who would have her 2 campers as well. And we would stay in the same cabin, and for most of the activities, we would go around together. We'd all go to the craft activities or the wood shop together. Or the princess parlor, and there's some trading that goes on if one of my campers really wants to go to snack recipe making, and another cabin group really wants to go with us to activity center or something. So, but for the most part, we stay the majority of the week with our own campers. But that also means that we need extra adults that run the different things, that run princess parlor and the dress up station and the crafts, and also, we have to take a shower once in a while. Since we are a sleepaway camp, we do need substitute counselors then. So for 2 hours each night, each counselor gets their break time where you shower, you have your devotional, you call your family, you have your own recentering time. You're basically on 22 hours of the 24 hours a day for the 5 days that we're there. But we do need then the substitute counselors to come in while our counselors get their breaks. So that also means that our kiddos, though, because we keep those low ratios of attention, they get that more one-on-one attention. You can have one-on-one time in a room full of older people. It just takes that one adult not being spread so thin to have to pay their attention to so many others. So even though I might have my 2 campers and we're both working on our activities, I can turn to one and still have some one-on-one time while the other one's busy working on their project for a little while. Also, every time one kiddo has to go to the bathroom, it means 2 adults have to go with them. And so That's why even if maybe being a counselor might intimidate you, or you're not that sure that you'd be that great in that role, we just need those extra chaperones, the ones that'll just come and sit and work with the kids while they're doing their crafts, so that maybe we can have even more one-on-one attention, where I'm paying attention to one of my campers and you're paying attention to one of my others. But then also, if we need to go to the restroom, we still need adults there to stay with the kids that aren't going to the restroom. So whether you come with me as a restroom runner or you help occupy the kids until we get back, there's just so many different ways. There's setting up for the tea party and tearing down, and setting up for the birthday party and tearing down. There's our drama team. There's just a lot of different ways that we just need extra adults in other capacities as well. On Friday afternoon, we all come back from camp at the same time, and the first thing that we do is a welcome home program for our campers, where their caregivers have arrived and our kids get up on stage and they show off the music that they learned at camp. It's kind of like Vacation Bible School, where they've got the motions and My Lighthouse, and they do a couple songs on stage, and then they go sit with their caregivers and get to all together watch a video of what their week of camp was like. And we have a short graduation ceremony for our kiddos that are graduating. We can take campers from ages 7 to 11. So if they are aging out, we want to acknowledge that and send them off. And we always encourage them to come back once they're 16 to volunteer as a junior counselor as well, if they can. And then once all of the caregivers and the kiddos leave, our camp staff has an hour-long debrief time, where it's kind of also our cry it out time. We just kind of come off of that high or that low, because the end of the week tends to have some tears and we're sad to see them go. There's a lot of fast bonding when you're away at camp together, and we just want to send our, just kind of even out the emotions before we send our volunteers home. And we have another in-town team of volunteers that have been setting up an appreciation dinner for those camp volunteers. And so right after our debrief time, we go out into another area of the church where there's a dinner that's prepared for us. And a short dinner, because we know folks have been away from their family all week and we want to let them get home to that. So, but just a way to appreciate and send them home with dinner in their bellies, and just to know how much that we've valued their service all week. There are a number of different ways to help out in town all year long as well, whether you are able to go to camp or not. Because we are 100% donation-based and volunteer-run, we do have several fundraisers throughout the year. One that's monthly is the third Thursday of every month is our Panera fundraiser. If you go on our website or our Facebook page, you can get a link to a flyer for that month's fundraiser that you would show whether you go through the drive-thru or come inside to grab your food, from 4 to 8 p.m. every third Thursday of each month, except for December, because that's too close to Christmas. They don't allow fundraisers then. But then a portion of your proceeds will go straight to Royal Family Kids. If you shop at on Amazon, at Fred Meyer or Kroger, you can link your accounts to us, and we get a portion of those proceeds as well. And we have directions for those on our website. And our biggest fundraiser of the year is our Royal Tea Party. It'll be in May. And whether you come as a guest or a volunteer, there are a number of different ways to help with that as well. And other ways are, at our tea party, the biggest part that raises funds is our silent auction. So if you're someone that's willing to donate a basket or an item for the silent auction, or you have a connection to a business in town that'd be willing to donate something, or a group of you and your small group want to put something together to donate, then those are always appreciated. We've got whether you just help us share information on Facebook or via email, face-to-face is usually better. People respond to that better. So you each will reach a circle of people that I will never be able to speak to. So if you're just sharing the information about what we do and the different ways to get involved, that would help us amazingly. And if you have a connection to a business that donates community grant money, whether it's just local sponsorships or donations or, by your company, or you're part of a Rotary Club or the Lions or the Llamas or whatever else there is, those are always really helpful to be able to connect us to applying for those as well. So our 1-week sleepaway summer camp is the first step of Royal Family Kids. The second phase is Mentor Club, where we're able to invite campers back during the school year to be matched up one-on-one with mentors that they meet with a minimum of 4 hours each month. And then the mentors also bring their mentees to a mentor club meeting, which is usually like on one Saturday morning a month for a couple hours. And while most of us don't want the week of camp to end, campers or volunteers, this is the way to be able to extend those connections and mentoring from camp all throughout the year. The statistics on the success of mentoring speak for themselves, in how much better children do when they do have a steady adult mentoring them. And if you can picture that some of the camps that already have this phase started, those adults that have been mentoring them are the longest lasting adult relationships some of those kids have, and they're Christian adult positive role model influences as well. This mentor club is not a phase that we've been able to start yet in Cowlitz and Wahkiakum County. We are recruiting volunteers to be able to start that, and as soon as we have enough, then we'll be able to start that official launch of it. There are a number of different ways that you can be a part of Mentor Club, whether it's as a mentor, and mentors do have to have gone to camp first. There are a few other roles that have to have gone to camp as well, but at the monthly mentoring club meetings, there's folks that'll just be helping put the snacks together, or activities, or crafts, or music, or Bible storytelling, and so or just those extra chaperones because of bathroom visits, or just extra more one-on-one attention. So whether or not you went to camp, there are several different ways to get involved. The roles that we usually need the most of are coordinator roles. So we still need bodies that are just willing to serve, but if you're one of them that's willing to take ownership of an area and coordinate the volunteers, and whether it's helping us recruit volunteers or whether it's just organizing them for certain different areas, those are really appreciated, especially. We have several different trainings that are coming up in our area this spring that are open to Royal Family Kids volunteers and others in the community. We highly encourage you to get connected on our email list, follow our Facebook page, or just reach out to us. Also, our events page on our website has all of that information as well. And any updates regarding cancellations or postponements will always be available on there too. Our monthly newsletters have all of this information as well, and a lot more. It has different roles that we're still looking for camp and mentor club, and all of our upcoming events, fundraisers, trainings. We highly encourage you to get on our email list. They're also posted on our Facebook page, and to read through them. We know they can be long, and if you need to come back on another time, but it's got a lot of great info that you'll be missing out on if you're not able to read through it. Our usual application period to apply to serve at camp is February 1st through the end of March, and as long as our application link online is active, we are still accepting applications. That link will be in our description below. It can be found on our Facebook page and on our website. The application is only available online, and the introduction is really long to be able to give you a little bit more information of what we expect of our volunteers and what our volunteers can expect the week of camp to look like a little bit. On that application, it also lists our mandatory volunteer training date, and any other trainings that are coming up that we encourage you to attend as well, that are optional but highly encouraged. Some folks can go on mission trips to foreign countries. We consider Royal Family Kids Camp our mission trip to our local communities, and we don't charge our campers or our volunteers. And while we always need women and men hear this, usually our application period closes and we're still short male applicants. The less men we can take volunteer-wise, the less boys we can take. And our boys need to see those strong Christian men role models to show this is how a strong man can act compassionately and kindly, and this is how they should treat women. But not only our boys need to see that, our girls need to see that. Too often, I'm sure you've heard of those cycles where a girl that had an abusive father ends up marrying an abusive husband or getting involved with an abusive man. So we encourage you, whether you are a man or can think of a man that comes to mind when you hear about our ministry, and women. We just need both men and women. But we just highly encourage you to help us spread the word, reach out, and If camp's not for you, if you're just not a camper, then we also encourage you, if you know of someone else that's interested, but they have young children at home, we do have couples that would like to serve at camp, but they can't because of their children. So offer to take their kids for a week. Or if the mom goes and the dad just needs help at home for the week, or vice versa, just offer to help out if that's something that you're able to do. Or there's the in-town opportunities as well. So we are called Royal Family Kids Camp because we get to introduce our campers to their Heavenly Father, who is a king, which means that they're princes and princesses. And regardless of whether they usually get treated as such, we get to show them that they are part of our family and that we're brothers and sisters in Christ. And regardless of what their earthly father may or may not have been able to do for them, their Heavenly Father is always there for them and does always love them. And we pray by the end of the week of camp that they find their identity in Him, in Jesus, and not in the stories or narratives that they've been told based on where they've come from or where they've grown up or what they've gone through. So thank you for helping us to make a difference in the children's lives in our own communities.